Welcome back to Honey Badger Actual's channel. Here I have the first episode of the Dictor Sacrifice. This is actually my own video. Figured I may as well put my failures out there right now, that way nobody thinks I'm perfect. So, here we have an engagement. Some capital ships were engaged and we were sent to form a quick reaction force to go get them. So I rushed there as fast as I could. Right as I get to the gate, we're told, well, all the dreads are dead. Might as well go back home. But I seen some purples here. They were fighting some other guys, so I figured, no, I'd jump in. Might as well. Jump in, do a little damage, see what I can do. It ain't much, but it's something. Now, here I start, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, man, there's really not much I'm going to be able to do if these guys actually start putting webs and stuff on me. Thankfully, they didn't do that. And I had realized that my purple buddy had gotten killed, so I'm like, oh, maybe I need to pay attention to the frigates around me and kind of disengage. So you'll see me do that here in a second. I'm going to realize, like, oh, shit, I'm in a bad place. I should not be here. But then a blue cruiser comes by, and I'm like, oh, man, here's the choice. And then I see him jump the gate, and I'm like, all right, we're warping away. We're getting out. Well, when we get out, we land here, and I'm like, oh, shit, interdictors. Thankfully, the one already jumped the gate, and the farthest one was either not paying attention or something. I don't know what he was doing, but he didn't make it very long. You see, I just kamikazed him. I figured, you know what? He's got less health than me. I'm going to survive this fight longer than him. Boop. Give him a bump. Drop a bubble. Here's where I made a big mistake. First of all, as a dictor, you should never go to looting. Your job is to do your job first. And I'm like, oh, the fight's over. I'll just play around, I'm getting this guy. I realize my buddy over there is in a fight. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go get him. But he runs away. So I start thinking, okay, well, now I need to go and start heading towards home, right? Dang, can't pick up that loot. Am I gonna have to stop and check my inventory and see why I can't pick it up? That's a mistake. Should have never done that. Number one, you're wasting your own time. Don't worry about what's in your cargo hold. You might not live to get it back to base anyway. Number two, you might miss this engagement even starting. You see here, this condor and this slasher aggressed each other, so now he can't jump the gate. Doing the right thing, you put the put the right stuff on them, you put the guns on them, you go to work. Here again, I'm thinking about my pocketbook, and I'm trying to loot. I didn't even think to myself, I've got an empty cargo hold. And then, as I'm trying to loot, oh, look at all this nice juicy loot. And then I start to realize, oh shit, it's starting to stack up with grays. I need to get out of here. But I need to make sure my buddies are safe too. So, doing the smart and dumb, I pop a bubble and I run, knowing that those bubbles are only going to prevent me from being followed. I see there's one purple in there, and he's got no chance of getting away. There's where I made my other big mistake. I left my buddy to die. I don't know who died there, but I'm sorry for your loss. It's actually my fault. I show up at this gate, and I see it's clear. I'm like, okay, well, clearly there's no gate camp here. Seeing that as a trap, I decided not to try and engage that guy because I recognized him as one of the interceptors that warped in behind me. So I was like, oh, well, we'll run to this gate, right? This is our out gate back towards home, so let's see what's here. Oh, it's all blues. But I'd already jumped the gate. Should have warped and held on gate. Remember, as a dictor, your job's basically to stop the enemy from following you and to stop the enemy from getting away. If you're already in the combat site, you probably shouldn't be warping gate unless you're told to by the fleet commander. But I did warp gate, and I see this guy here, and he's in a fight with one of my buddies. Got him pretty well tackled. I'm not thinking, boop, he jumps the gate. I'm like, oh, okay. So I jump the gate back again. We're gonna get him, right? There's no way that whole fleet of gray people could be coming up. This could never be a trap. The bloodthirst is thick in my veins. All I can see is a raven on my kill nail. Okay, so let's take a quick assessment. We have one blue cruiser, one blue frigate, and a gray battleship that doesn't use guns. We set up right to tackle him, hard tackle, get on him, get him so he can't get in, can't get away from the gate. But I'm not taking into account all the grays or all the purple and blue that are just seeing this and leaving. Not being in a fleet with this guy here, I don't know what his health is. I don't know how long this fight's gonna go. If you look over at my UI, you'll notice the only thing I've got lit up on my UI is stations and gates. My fourth big mistake was I accidentally cloaked. After I popped a bubble, I cloaked, uncloaked. Or no, I jumped the gate, moved, went to target him, cloaked, uncloaked, popped a bubble, and then ended up in a locked out situation where now I can't lock onto him. I can't help put damage on him. At this point, I should have listened to the fleet commander, and I should have headed home. I should have disengaged, told the rest of the purples in the area that we need to disengage and we need to get away. But instead, I decided that one purple being here to tackle and having a few blues nearby, even though it didn't look like they were really engaging, would be enough to take this guy out if he didn't have reinforcements. But he got wise to what was going to happen. He realized we would end up killing him before his reinforcements got there, and he de-aggressed. That should have been clue number 2, that this was a bad idea. Clue number 1 was we don't have enough forces to fight this guy, knowing that there's a gray force nearby who could easily come and overwhelm what we have here. Number 2 is this guy de-aggresses and jumps the gate. That clue should have been enough to tell me this is a bad place to be. The interceptor and him de-aggress, jump the gate. Now we have a bunch of blue forces stuck in my bubble, and we're like, what are we gonna do? Well, let's de-aggress and jump the gate, chase after. Right? That couldn't be the wrong choice. This could not be our impending doom. None of this was communicated in chat or in voice comms. These were just people acting of their own accord, seeing the remnants of a battle gone awry. Seeing that my friend there wrote, he lagged and lost tackle, I should have taken the moment to tell him we need to get out of here. Another mistake of my own. Not realizing that it was pertinent to escape, and not realizing that it was very important to communicate with the people that were here that we were in immediate danger, we pressed the fight. Jump the gate. There he is. Going in hard, right? Lock him on. Drop a bubble so the big guy can't get away. Now I'm doing my job. I'm trying to kill the little guy. but he de-aggressed and jumped the gate. Here's, oh shoot, sorry about that. Here's where my other mistake is. Realizing that this guy is not trying to fight. He's literally waiting for us all to get stuck over here, aggressed on him, and stuck in my bubble on this side of the gate. We trapped ourselves. Well, I trapped us. We essentially trapped ourselves. As it begins to dawn on me that local is starting to populate with greys, I've begun to take damage from the battleship I'm currently orbiting. And then the focus fire comes. We lose several ships. Almost instantaneously, most of the fleet that was there is wiped off the field. This is why if you want to fly a dictor, you should fly a cheap one first. Stay in a cheap one until you're confident, and then probably stay in a cheap one forever, because when you get a little too overconfident like I am, like I have been, you end up risking hundreds of millions for no reason. Well, hopefully you can learn from this mistake. When your fleet commander tells you to pull out, it's time to pull out. When you realize that the enemy forces far outnumber you, it's time to pull out. There's not always glory being an interdictor pilot. Sometimes there's pointless deaths and mistakes made. But as long as you learn from those mistakes, continue to fly your interdictor, you become quite the force to be reckoned with. And I hope that that's a thing that all pilots can take away from this video, is that you're gonna die. So you should fly a cheap one. Don't bring a full hold full of fuel. And don't stick around where you're not welcome, because sometimes you're not there to fight. You're there to do your job and get the hell away from it. Honey Badger Actual out.